I went 7 months without interlocking my hair. You heard me right. So yeah, I finally interlocked. Don't ask me how long it took because I do not know. I will show you the footage that I took and I'm going to show you what my hair looks like completely done and settled in. So stay tuned. First, we got to begin with a good old-fashioned before shot. You can see how thick and how overgrown the roots are. I have about 4 inches in some sections, 2 inches in other sections. You can see in this footage on the left that my entire hand can basically fit through the roots of my hair. So I think it's really important to point out that new growth does not equal damage. I know if I were to enter a salon with my hair in this state, I would probably be charged a hefty repair fee. This is because of the time it takes to interlock, but not because it's actually damaged. The key to maintaining semi-freeform microlocks without damage and without breakage is to really have a solid routine and regimen when it comes to washing, when it comes to detangling the roots, separating it to make sure that there is no marrying of the roots. That's when the locks kind of combine. So this interlocking session is going to be done in 3 phases. The first phase is interlocking all the new growth, the excessive new growth with my fingers. So as you can see, I have inches of hair that is not interlocked or locked from when I was retwisting it. You can see all of that, and so I'm going to be interlocking that just with my fingers because I find it a little bit easier than going in with a tool. Then I'm going to go in with a tool, finish interlocking it all the way to the root, and then if there's any locks that need to be repaired, like I don't know, I don't see any damage so far, but like if there is, I might do a little bit of locksmithing or fixing any holes, or if there is anything, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to part right here and we'll start on this side. We're gonna go ahead and clip all this off, and just for demonstration purposes I'll do this row right here because it's easy to see and easy to get to. And if you can already tell like how easily I'm separating my hair and there's no like snags or tearing, even that is just an indication that thinking that just because you've gone a long time without interlocking your hair, thinking that that somehow damages the health of your hair, it's just patently false. It only damages your hair if you don't know how to maintain it properly in between times, and I feel like there's just no resources, no guidance, no people telling you how to actually maintain your hair without being in the salon every 6 weeks or having to rely on a loctician to get your hair interlocked. And then like if that doesn't happen, it's like, oh no, my hair is gonna fall off my head. No, your locks are not gonna fall off your head. I got you, boo. Go watch the video. Watch the video on how to maintain your locks. Okay, so let's start with this one here. I'm just gonna open it up and make sure there's no tangles in there. All of this is interlocked. I think there might be some that isn't interlocked, like just locked from the shed hairs, but like you can't really tell. Okay, so we're doing finger interlocking, and I think I'm gonna do 3-point rotation. So yeah, I'm just gonna, whatever I feel like, to be honest. I decided a while ago that some of these things don't matter to me anymore, and the specific rotation, it don't really matter. So it's really important not to go the same way several times because that is how you create a hole in your lock. I mean, and holes are very simple to repair, so even if you do create a hole in your lock, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so as you can see, I just interlocked all the new growth. This is the previous lock. This is the interlock. Now it does look a little thinner. That's just because it's freshly interlocked. As soon as it gets wet and shrinks up, it's going to swell just like hair does at the beginning of the lock process. It swells and then it condenses and then it'll match the rest of the lock. So yeah, there it is. No damage. Hair is not falling off. You know, it's not just super fat where
A lot of people are worried that the lock is not going to be uniform, like it's going to be really thin where it's interlocked, and then it's going to be really fat where you retwist it, and then it's going to be really thin where you interlock it, so they say you can't switch back and forth. But honestly, I mean, that's not the case for me. All right, so if that was the case for you, let me know. I've not seen anyone this was the case for. So I think we just tend to regurgitate things we hear people say, or maybe that was one person's experience because they didn't know how to properly interlock or retwist, and then, you know, maybe their hair was a little bit lumpy or bumpy. And I mean, even that is not, lumpy and bumpy locks is not damage. Like, so just because your locks are not perfectly symmetric all the way through, and, you know, not a perfect cylinder, that does not mean that your locks are damaged. It just means that aesthetically it's not what some people may want, and that's perfectly fine if that's not what you want. But unfortunately, people think that it's not possible to maintain Microlocs any other way, and so they think there's no options for them when there actually is. So yeah, I'm on a mission to educate and really show people that there are more options. Okay, I think I just lost count of where I was in my grid, where I was in my rotation, I mean. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just feel and see, and then continue. Y'all, this one is all over the place. I don't know what I'm doing in this one. That's okay. Remember, because everything doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, hair's not gonna fall off your head. Okay, there it is. As you can see, nothing's wrong with the lock. No breakage, no damage. Okay. Beautifully maintained from root to tip. Yeah. I'm gonna do the rest of this and then come back. So I'm back with this row completely finger interlocked. You can see it has about ½ an inch left to be interlocked at the roots. So I'm going to go ahead and do my entire head.
So at this point, life actually got really crazy for me. That previous clip of me was in July. This clip of me is actually in October. I was not able to go in with the tool and interlock it to the roots until a while later. And then this is my second retightening since July. As you can see, my hair is thriving. It looks, you know, healthy from root to tip. I will be doing some close-up shots in just a bit, so hang with me. But I do want you to see the big picture, that even if you switch from retwisting to interlocking, your hair can still look good. It can still look neat. It can still look how you want it to, even if there are, you know, a few irregularities. So for me, the payoff is worth it. Although I do not have perfect locks, I do have a freer maintenance schedule that works for my lifestyle. That being said, I would love to hear you guys' opinion and thoughts on how my hair looks, how my maintenance is coming along, what you think about, you know, the whole thing. So go ahead and leave a comment below. So here are the close-up shots as promised. This is really the money shot because it's important to be able to see close up how your hair is going to look after you interlock, after not having had any maintenance for so long. Before making the decision to semi-freeform or extend time between maintenance, you really want to be informed and just know the different variables. So you can see I do have a little bit of irregularity, a little bit of bunching. A lot of that will correct itself over time, but it's just the nature of retwisting. It's not quite as predictable as interlocking, where you get the same result every single time. Retwisting is really a more organic process. I do want to point out that although I have been semi-freeforming and I haven't been, you know, paying much attention to my parts, my grid is still very much intact. My foundation is still very much solid. Let me know what you think about my grid. Is this something that you would be happy with on yourself, or are you kind of a person that prefers more neat, more perfect grid? I do want to mention that although I didn't have it recorded in this video, I do have a 4-point rotation tutorial that you can check out on my channel.